Hey guys, it's Shadowswarm, and I'm going to say I kind of called it. Not I totally called it. No. I kind of called it. Let's just read on, okay? This is for Jinx, the loose cannon. She's been revealed. Let's jump right into things. I'm going to be going through the entire article that Riot put up, and we can go ahead and talk about everything that we see that they're giving us. So Jinx, the loose cannon revealed. Fire up your minigun and take aim with a massive death launcher as Jinx, the loose cannon. Packing major attitude and equipped with a cornucopia of carnage, Jinx is a marksman primed to leave your foes marked for demolition. Her abilities. Her passive is Get Excited. Jinx gains a massive movement speed boost whenever a champion or tower that she recently attacked is killed or destroyed. This boost decays over time. Okay, so say she attacks, let's say there's a big 5v5 team fight. She attacks Karthus first, and Karthus dies, within the, I want to say 10 to 15 seconds, she'll get a massive movement speed boost that will help her catch other people, such as the ADC that's all the way in the back, stuff like that. That's nice. Same thing, it's nice to help start pushing lanes, stuff like that. Her Q, which is Switcheroo! Jinx swaps weapons. Her Fishbones, the rocket launcher. Jinx's basic attacks consume mana, but gain increased range and deal increased damage to her target and nearby enemies. Her Pow Pow minigun. Jinx's basic attacks grant attack speed for short duration, stacking up to 3 times. Stacks fall off one at a time once Jinx stops attacking. So, what this is saying right here, the Fishbone rocket launcher pretty much, is that it's going to be primarily, I'm assuming, to, try and snipe off, other ADCs like Caitlyn or Tristana at later levels, try and just do some poking in early game. And the Pow Pow minigun is for when you're, trying to, you're being chased, or you're trying to chase a tank, for instance, or, lower that tank's health down very, very rapidly. You got a Blade of the Rune King, and you want to proc several times, well, then there you go. Or even if, I'm assuming again, this, you want to get your stacks of, say, Black Cleaver up very, very rapidly, that would be a good choice. And then you switch over to the rocket launcher, and oh my god, you have increased range. It's pretty damn good. Again, the rocket launcher can be used, I'm assuming, for poke and stuff like that. It looks like to me, just based on that, you're going to be switching between the rocket launcher and minigun based upon the situation, but I would say assume you would use the rocket launcher 9 out of 10, well, I want to say 60% of the time. So get ready to maybe possibly be building like a Tear of the Goddess and be building her kind of like you would a blue Ezreal in that, aspect. Get the Tear of the Goddess, go for Mana Mune that turns into Muramana, etc., etc. Get a lot of mana, mana regenerating items, have your support get mana regenerating items for you to help you, such as the mana manipulator, etc. Just give yourself enough mana so that you'd be able to do that. So, yeah, let's just move on. Her W, which is Zap. Jinx it snaps off an electrical blast that deals damage and slows the first enemy hit. So, kind of like, I want to say almost like Heimerdinger's Grenade or Anivia's, Ice Blast, her Q. I believe it's her Q at least. That travels, but you actually, it's only the first thing that you hit that actually, gets dealt damage and whatnot. So, yeah. Use at your own discretion on that one, but hey, it sounds like it's a nice way for her to kite. Her E, which is Flame Chompers. Jinx throws out a line of snare grenades that detonate after a few seconds, lighting nearby enemies on fire. Enemy champions who walk over a grenade will cause it to detonate early and rooting them briefly. So, to me, kind of sounds again, like a kiting technique, way to zone your enemies out for that instance as well. Maybe able to aim it like you can kind of Karthus' wall or Rumble's ultimate, for instance, where you can kind of set that nice lineup so that way in case anybody does try to, dive onto you, they're going to have to get snared first in order to get to you. That's assuming they don't have ways of flashing over, like, say, Zed with Shadows, his Living Shadow, for instance, or Ezreal with, his Arcane Shift. It's, stuff like that. So, sounds like a nice way to keep those melee guys off your butt. And your ultimate as Jinx, which is Super Mega Death Rocket. Jinx fires a global rocket that gains damage as it travels. The rocket explodes on the first enemy champion hit, dealing damage to the target and all nearby enemies based on a percentage of their missing health. So, realistically speaking, it's like Kog'Maw's W in that aspect, where, it deals damage based upon health, but it's missing health, not just total health. So say you're missing let's say 60% of your health, that rocket's going to hurt. It's going to hurt even more if you're missing even more of your health, like 90% of your health. And you're damn near dead and you just barely got away, for instance. So, sounds like a very, very good ult. Just gonna have to see how it's played. And my question is, would you be able to cast this rocket, since it says fires a global rocket? Do they mean by global, do they mean like, oh, you can still go, like you have to be in a sort of range to be able to cast it first of all, and then it travels indefinitely till it finally hits them? Or can you cast it like from your base to your opponent's base, or say to Baron, for instance? If they're doing that, you have vision, and you put your ult on somebody who's weak. Exactly what do they mean? Like, is there that kind of set range? Or is it just a true global ultimate, such as, Ezreal's, or, Karthus' for that fact, or Shen's, where you can have it be put anywhere as long as you have that vision? That's my question. We'll have to see when this comes into play. But, yeah. That's my biggest question with that. And just overall, she seems like a nice champion to, be paired up against, again, like, say, that Caitlyn or Tristana, who will outrange her, as well as just any other ADC, because she can outrange them, it sounds like, from, the rocket launcher. Granted, she'll have to, have her mana go for that, for the ability to do that, but, hey, it's a double-edged sword. You have to take the good with the bad. There's almost no hindrance I can see on Pow Pow with the minigun, aside from, you won't have that increased range that you would from the rocket launcher. And I don't know, would you be able to, like, switch up between them, like, get the the attack speed increase from your minigun, have that affect your rocket launcher, have your the rocket launcher's, range affect the minigun, stuff like that. Like, are they interchangeable, or are they just exclusive to that one, gun, to where the second you swap out, you lose all of your stacks, These are things we're going to have answered, and hopefully Riot will, when they have her for beta testing, hopefully Riot will be like, yeah, this is how it's going to work. Now, I already clicked on this. I'm going to go ahead and show it to you guys real quick. As I said, she's, just from the images we saw in the previous video, to me, she looks like Harley Quinn. She's got that sick, sadistic look on her face that is, just kind of terrifying. And if she sounds like Harley Quinn, then oh my god. Like, don't get me wrong, Shaco sounds nothing like the Joker, but, his mannerisms are like the Joker. And if her mannerisms are like Harley Quinn, then damn. Just damn. Now, this is her, I'm assuming that obviously this is her ultimate. This is her no, what is that? It looks like her chompers. This is her minigun. This is her minigun and her rocket launcher. So, just different aspects of how she looks with her different abilities going out. So, nothing too extreme here. Let's get on to Riot's explanation of her in bot lane, because she is apparently an ADC. So Jinx is a versatile marksman armed with an arsenal of eclectic weapons. Her assortment of arms wreaks a ton of havoc, enabling her to deal brutal bouts of damage at the expense of mobility. One of the most important facets to playing Jinx is harnessing the power of switcheroo to safely harass her enemies from a distance with her rocket launcher before unleashing a hail of minigun pain when the moment calls. Despite her lack of built-in escapes, Jinx stores a few maneuvers inside her hyperactive brain that help her avoid ganks. Flame chompers, briefly snares encroaching junglers, a well-timed zap discourages pursuit, and careful management of objectives provide a massive speed boost that, thanks to Get Excited, triggering when a tower falls. So again, meaning if you have to get that tower down and you see the enemies are right there, if that tower falls, you get that increased movement speed that we talked about earlier. And towers will fall. Clearing waves through liberal use of her rocket launcher's area of effect, Jinx brings constant lane pressure, keeping her opponent on their heels, or making it possible for them to pursue her, helps ensure she makes it to the mid and late game stages where her tremendous potential truly shines. One thing though that remains to be said, there's almost never a time where a super mega death rocket isn't just about to be the best possible answer to any problem. Jinx's ultimate is a global execute that picks up speed as it hurls towards an unexpected victim's facial area. When KOing a low health enemy during a early level Baron fight from across the map, or nailing a retreating foe for the last second kill, there's nothing a well-placed super mega death rocket can't do, except hitting on champions. It can't do that. So, just a little bit of, we made a funny there. Her team fights. Jinx begins to dish out the damage once team fights break out. Lacking reliable peel or protection for herself, though, she relies on her positioning and her teammates to help keep her alive while she sends her enemies screaming. Jinx's range and damage remain potent throughout the game, making her ideal in a composition built around long-range poke. In the heat of battle, using her rocket launcher and zap from a distance helps whittle down enemies until she scores a kill, while Flame Chompers creates zones that opposing champions would do well to avoid. Once Get Excited triggers, Jinx unlocks her cleanup potential, quickly repositioning to avoid threats and mowing down stragglers trying to run away. So, just going back to what was put up here real quick in her bot lane, apparently it is that global where it's just like, it can be done anywhere as long as you have their, vision of them. So, I'm gonna have to see how this plays out, because that sucks a lot. Like, you're up against that Karthus and, just res, and your teammates are all low, you're low, he, ults and pentakills you all, because you were all low after a team fight and you failed to get back quick enough. This sounds like one of those ults where it's just like, hey, if you don't back quick enough with low health, if she has the mana, you're dead. So, yeah, I'm truly, truly interested to see how how she's played, given, again, the fact that they pretty much said she has no, she has a lacking of reliable peel or protection for herself, other than her zap and her chompers. That's, compared to somebody like, say, Ezreal, who has his Arcane Shift. Your Arcane Shift allows you to, move a very short distance, yes, but the cooldown can be reduced by your Q, which, you're going to be constantly spamming your Q. So, yeah. We'll have to see how she plays. Her story. Oh, look! I'm opening my box of care! Oh, wait, it's empty. Jinx lives to wreak havoc without a thought of consequences, leaving a trail of mayhem and panic in her wake. A manic and impulsive criminal, she despises nothing more than boredom, and gleefully unleashes her own volatile brand of pandemonium to the one place she finds the dullest, Piltover. With an arsenal of deadly toys, she unleashes the brightest explosions and loudest blasts, all the better to shock and surprise the hapless authorities. Always just out of the law's reach, Jinx's favorite game is to toy with Piltover's finest, especially Vi, or V, however you want to pronounce her. Piltover had long been known as the City of Progress, a place where peace and order reigned. This serenity was challenged when a new kind of criminal arrived, the likes of whom had never been seen before. The mysterious outlaw unleashed a series of warped and destructive capers that endangered the entire city, and left its people reeling from the worst crime spree in Piltover's history. As the string of crimes without rhyme or reason hit the city, sightings of the lawbreaker emerged. Though the young woman's origins were a mystery, some saw traces of Piltover hex tech in her firearms, while others described the street fashions of Zaun in her dress. Because her arrival always brought trouble with it, those who crossed her path soon gave her name Jinx. Jinx's rampage escalated. Kaelin, the sheriff of Piltover, responded by declaring a state of emergency and organizing a citywide manhunt. In typical Jinx fashion, the criminal marched the Piltover treasury, the city's most secure building, with a direct challenge to its most abrasive officer. With a caricature of Vi's face splashed across the treasury facade, and with a time and date of her supposed raid, Jinx was openly daring the enforcer to stop her from robbing it. So, just from these, few paragraphs I read, first of all, prettiest and biggest explosions. Tristana's gonna be mad at her. I'm just saying. Tristana likes those pretty explosions. Tristana's known for pretty explosions. How does Tristana feel about that? That's my only 2 cents. Let's continue go. Determined to put the troublemaker behind bars, Vi watched and waited outside the treasury until Jinx's time had finally come. True to her scrawled promise, the smiling menace showed her face. Knowing this was her chance to capture the outlaw, Vi gave chase into the building's interior. She smashed through wall after wall to chase down Jinx, who giggled as she lit up the evacuated treasury with fiery explosions. Vi finally cornered the criminal inside the vault, but Jinx wasn't done just yet. With a maniacal laugh, she fired a barrage of rockets, bringing the entire building down upon them both. When Vi finally crawled out of the ruins, the battered enforcer found no trace of Jinx. Adding insult to injury, not a single ounce of gold had been taken from the ruined vault. Instead, the criminal left a parting message to her favorite law enforcer, a challenge now only visible through the gaping opening of Piltover's skyline. The lights of the city spelled out a simple taunt: "You'll never catch me." As Vi read the message, she heard the distant laughter of her new nemesis, and the city plunged into utter darkness for the very first time. Wow. So, first of all, she pissed off Caitlyn, and then she really, really pissed off Vi, saying, "You will never catch me, Vi." Let's see how this happens in games, because obviously anything can happen. Yeah, just the backstory. Oh my god, that's such a maniacal backstory to give a character. Like, the last one was was one of redemption. This one's just one of mass chaos, which again, it's Harley Quinn. Obviously not identical to Harley Quinn, but close enough. Like, right there, the lights spelling out something that's Joker / Harley Quinn-esque. It's nice to see Riot, paying homage to other games. Whether they're doing it, via new champions, items, whatever. This just seems like a nice, she seems like a nice addition to the league. I just don't know that we needed another ADC, given, we've had how many new ADCs? We've had Draven reworked like 8 different times. We just had Lucian implemented. Obviously, this champion will be, Jinx will be implemented somewhere down the road, but still, this is our number 1st ADC after, who is the last support to officially come out? Thresh? When did he come out? He came out a long time ago. Who is our last tank to come out? We can arguably say the last tank was Hecarim, but realistically speaking here, we haven't had that sort of, like, pure tank, other than, like, Rammus, Malphite, Shen, only select few that are true tanks that are played like tanks, not as disruptors. Hecarim is a disruptor just because, he's there to soak up damage, and he kind of actually can do damage as well. He's a bruiser, just like, say, Garen and Xin Zhao, as well as, who am I forgetting here? Darius. We've yet to have another mid laner since Lissandra. We've yet to have another jungler. There are a lot of things we haven't had, and I don't like this trend of multiple ADCs coming out before any other. I understand ADC might be the easiest to, implement, and, that constantly changes the meta to try and find their counter. But, realistically speaking here, we also need other supports, we need other bruisers, we need other mids, we need other tops, we need other assassins, we need a lot of other stuff, not just pure ADCs. So, I'm totally looking forward to, Jinx and what she can bring. It's just, I feel that there are too many ADCs that are being implemented in that we just don't have enough supports in other classes. So, yeah, again, I'm excited. I can't wait to play her, see how she plays, and, go from there. But again, I just hope that they don't continue this trend of, like, multiple ADCs, then, one of every other thing, then again, multiple ADCs. It's not a nice trend to have, so we'll have to see. My thoughts on her, just based upon her abilities that I've read earlier, right up here, and, the little bit of bot lane info they gave down here, just, oh my god. She, quite literally, she's playing exactly how I said, without me even looking at what it said for bot lane. She's meant to clear the creep waves. I didn't necessarily say she would clear the creep waves, but, she's meant to use her rocket launcher for long-range harassment, stuff like that, and her minigun to try and take down foes as quickly as possible. So, we will have to see. It didn't answer my question, though, if, Switcheroo would be able to carry over the stacks from one gun over to the other. I would think that they're exclusive to the weapons themselves. So once you change out from, like, the minigun to the rocket launcher, you don't get those stacks for that rocket launcher. You only get the stacks to the minigun, and thus the stacks go away. It wouldn't make any sense for the minigun, for instance, to have a ridiculously long range, do AoE, and do increased damage, all because you just switched to it from the rocket launcher. It wouldn't make any sense. But, yeah, guys, that's it. I'm going to probably make a video about her when she comes out. I'm going to be making a video on Lucian. I got to play him a few more times, see how I like him, stuff like that. But, yeah, that's it. My name has been Shadowsbalm. If you got any questions or anything like that, if you like the new champion, if you like Jinx, if you like how her playstyle is going to, how she sounds like she's going to be played, if you like that, leave a comment down below, stuff like that. And I will talk to you all next time.